Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is BestInSlot and we are back playing Zoo Tycoon 2 with what will probably be the penultimate episode for now. And what are we doing today? Well, we're continuing to work on the Mega Zoo, and today is the day we blend these biomes together and we try to make it feel more like one single cohesive kind of planet. So let's go through the zones quickly, and again we've got our Arctic in the top with the Arctic Sea in the top right. Could look a little colder. I wonder if I can make it look colder. Who knows? On the left we've got some Alpine Tundra, then we've got some Alpine foresty stuff. I actually can't remember what most of these things are. Then there's a big desert which is going to act as our savannah as well. Down here is going to be more deserty based, and as you get to the top we'll have some grass and stuff, and that's going to look quite savannah-y. I know a lot of people commented about the savannah, but it will kind of be there. This would then be our tropical rainforest, which leads into the reef, which will kind of make sense, and then into the wetlands, which then lead into this stuff, which then leads into that. I think it all kind of flows in terms of temperature. Hot doesn't hit hot, hot doesn't hit cold. So very leafy doesn't hit very unleafy, except here. But we're gonna make it work. Designers, make it work. To quote that guy off that program I never watch. So let's start off with our landscaping. We want this to feel a little bit more exciting. There's going to be mountain ranges separating some of the exhibit areas. There's going to be... and some of them are just going to flow into each other, but we just kind of want it to look a little bit more interesting. And we're going to start with hills in the desert region, because what I'm thinking is if I put hills in like this, it'll kind of look like sand dunes. Or at least that's the idea. I'm not sure it's going to work. It kind of works. It looks like bumpy sand, which is kind of what I'm going for, you know? We're kind of all in the roughly the same angle, direction, etc. Just because, you know, they're formed by the wind, and the wind is blowing in one way. So all along here, let's just put some sand dunes in. I'm just going to bump these ones up here a little bit more as well. We have one big one sitting up here in the top. The king of sand dunes, or the queen, whatever gender you associate with sand dunes. Personally, if you've ever associated, yeah, this is really all I wanted. The zoo entrance ruins it a little bit, but just a bit of bumps. Some up here as well. We're just gonna kind of do this all over the place, just create a little bit of interest, because the world is not flat, you know. It looks a bit more like this, where the world is kind of naturally bumping along, and little dips and crags. And speaking of dips and crags, let's extend this out up this way, and then try and slowly have it taper off. And it's like a little contained little oasis. These creatures that just live behind the big sand dune, or something. Who the hell knows? And a couple of valleys in there as well. Just maybe there's a couple here that are all kind of in the same shape because the wind's been blowing in, or there's treads from the animals that have migrated along, so they've kind of created like a thing. Or, for example, maybe there is a dried up riverbed that just kind of snakes between the dunes and over into here and into the actual riverbed. So that would have flowed in times gone by, but now it is dried out and is dead, and animals have to migrate out. That's really it for the desert region. It looks a bit like a desert now, which is pretty cool. It'll look nicer when the weather's a bit nicer as well. It's a little bit overcast today, you know? Right, moving on. Rainforest. Now, rainforest I want to keep fairly flat. We're going to do the same again, where we just put some hills and stuff in, just to create a bit of natural sort of interest to the ground. But in general, the rainforest isn't really about the modifications like this. It's more about you know, the trees and the wildlife and stuff. So that's kind of what I wanted, just so it's not completely flat, but I think that'll do for the rainforest. Oh, that looks really cool, actually. Maybe I can do something around here, like create a ridge at the back. Don't know why, but why not? Wetlands, again, will also be quite flat. The reef would be quite flat, although what I'm thinking with the reef, let's go ahead and go into the biome editor kind of thingamajiggy. Reef, there we go, and I just want to... I want to sand it up a little bit, basically. Because what I'm thinking, I spent a lot of time growing up okay, not growing up, but like in the last few years in Formby. My dad used to live in Formby. And for those who don't know what Formby is like the posh bit outside of Liverpool where all the footballers live. And it's a little bit posh. Like, our local shop was a Waitrose. It's a bit ridiculous, to be honest. But this was a while ago. We don't live there anymore. But Formby Beach is really nice. Like, it's the best bit of Formby, really. If you ignore the posh people and you go to Formby, because Formby is quite a nice place, you go to the beach, and Formby Beach is really nice. But it's got the sea, obviously, because it's not much of a beach without the sea. And in front of the sea, there's just one big dune that kind of extends around the entire thing, kind of blocking it off into its own private reef. Which, of course, it would be a private little reef because it's Formby and it's posh, but still. Just kind of like that. So the sand's kind of accumulating at the edges before it delves into this bit. Wetlands can stay completely flat, I think. What's this over here? Right, this one, I don't know what any of these are. I need to remind myself. I think this is Alpine Tundra. No, it's not. That's Alpine Tundra there. Yes, right, that's good to know. So that's Alpine Tundra. This is Tundra? Yeah. Okay, so what would we have for Tundra? Well, Tundra in my head, wolves and snow, and we're going to put a bit of snow in here, actually, just to Tundra it up. Oops, daisy. Little brush, little brush. Oops. I'd love like a blend tool, you know, like an opacity tool. Something that lets me fade the opacity of this in brush strokes. That's it. Really lets us blend it together. So because this looks like this, what we're actually going to do is get ourselves a cliff. We're going to have quite a lot of cliffs in this region. And we'll say that the cliffs is how... Basically, there's a cold front coming from the north, right? Over here. And that's why this area is turned all Arctic and stuff. There's a constant cold front coming down from the north. But there's a cliff range here. At the top of the Alpine Tundra zone. And whilst it's not prevented... Obviously, some cold weather gets through, some storms get through. It's not perfect. It does block the majority of it, so this area becomes cold, but it doesn't become Arctic. Plus, Alpine Tundra, this feels like the kind of place that would have cliffs for me, you know? Don't know why there's a snake, but there's a snake, we're gonna have to deal with it. That's the world we live in now. I kind of like the idea of this being quite self-contained, you know? But it is going to lead into, let's... do a bit of this just to break up the monotony of the shapes a little bit, make it look a little bit more realistic. Lovely, jubbly, don't like this over here, let's get rid of that. But it should be bumpy everywhere, you know, it's rock strewn, it's been trampled through, it's a rough and rugged kind of place to live. We'll put some snow up there in a minute. That leads with a nice little path into that Tundra, because this is Alpine something. I can't remember what already, but it's Alpine something, so there should be a natural follow through from here into there, but it should block off quite well for the other bits. What's this here? So yeah, the desert. So basically, trying to think of something that sounds vaguely justifiable. Okay. So, obviously there's a cold front coming from the north. The cold front hits the mountain range in the north. Kind of creates like a bowl of cold weather within the Alpine Tundra. That doesn't quite make it through because this mountain range then blocks it off from getting south to the desert. And the desert weather is blocked off from this by this mountain range. Okay? Can we just pretend this is okay? Thanks. It's really all I need, guys. Thank you. Oh god, right, okay. It kind of makes sense, I don't really know. Whatever, that'll do. Let's get some snow in here, shall we? So I just want snow on top of the higher mountains, basically. This really helps feeling like the two blend into each other. You know, there's a bit of grass kind of made it through to this bit where it's dried out a bit, or where, again, the mountains block some of the weather or something. But by and large, it's maybe a bit low down. was it? Alpine Tundra? Maybe a bit of grass from this bit makes it through, bleeds into this. So I think those are blended out very nicely now. I think that bleeds into that quite well, that leads into that quite well. I think that's working for me. A nice little bowl of Alpine Tundra, which is blocked off from the rest of the world, sort of. I don't want them to ever feel like they're unnaturally blocked off, you know? But they are kind of blocked off, without seeming like it. Some animals will get through this bit, which is fine, because I think these two habitats are going to be quite friendly with each other. It's just flattens out, so it's more obvious. Little path through there, into this bit, which is a bit that I've forgotten the name of. What are you, sir? Alpine Tundra? Alpine Tundra! So, a cold forest, basically. So we're not going to go over the top with this one in terms of... I need a way to blend this with this. This is my problem. The sand into the grass. And we can pretend this part of the desert is like a cold desert or savanna or whatever, but it's not. It's still not going to blend. Will it blend? And no, it won't. Is the answer right now. How did I end up on this? Focus more on that at this rate. This could kind of work. The sand just naturally starts to fade out. It turns to rock, and then a little bit further away from the harsh living conditions of the desert, the grass starts to grow and thrive and such things. Hot desert, hot desert. Little brush. There are limitations, must be said. And I think if we put some boulders in there, I think that's going to look okay. I think that'll kind of work. I think this stone's really helped. That leads into that. This isn't going to be messed with much. The polar ice caps are quite flat. In my head, at least. I'm sure they're not in a lot of ways. Well, they're definitely not in some places. But we're going to put icebergs and stuff in there to create depth. This area... I want a little mountain range, I think. Maybe extends from the bottom of this rocky bit. And then just pushes up there a little bit. Not like a big thing, just like a ridge like this, basically. And that can kind of blend into this. Like so. And let's ditch this down a little bit in places. Okie dokie? Maybe? Yeah, it's kind of what I wanted. Just a mountain range, basically, that runs through and blends in a little bit into the Arctic bit over there. Kind of like a remnant from this region that's kind of propped up. Let's say there's a tectonic plate under here, and that's why this mountain range is kind of emerged, but there's a crack in it, and it splits off across the Alpine Tundra kind of region. And there's going to be a lot of trees and stuff here that are going to really help. Same with this bit here. This bit we're not going to use the modifying to do it. We're going to use basically rainforest trees slowly becoming alpine forest trees. I think that's going to create quite a nice natural gap. Up here I think we're going to have a... do I want a cliff range? That kind of fades as it gets more towards this bit over there. You may have noticed I'm quite a big fan of cliffs. It's like the wall from Game of Thrones, basically. Which is pretty cool, so we'll pretend that's what I meant to do, and we'll go with that. Okay, okay. We need to ditch this up a little bit, just... Oh, no, we don't. That's crazy. I'm just trying to... No, never mind. So that gets over here, and then by the time that fades, this is when this bit starts to come in, which is pretty cool. Where's our polar bit? This bit should look... I want it to... I know this makes more sense because it's ice, and it actually should be ice, but I want it to look cold. I want it to look blimmin' freezing, you feel me? At the moment, it doesn't. So it needs snow on it. And I'm just wondering if any of the different types of water are going to look colder. I think that might look better. I don't know. Benthic. No, I just want nice blue water. Icy water. I think pelagic might be the best. No. Freshwater. No. Benthic. No. Okay, it's gonna have to be. We'll stick with the polar ice. I'm not happy about it, but it's the way it is. We also want to bump up some of these a little bit. And we'll do this over on the mainland as well, just to give you the idea of like rolling hills of snow. Kind of just in the same way the desert worked. This blending between the wetlands and the polar is a little bit of a problem. I'm actually pretty happy with all of this at the moment, but that's going to be a problem, child. Like, the rainforest to the wetlands... Oh, it's not wetlands, it's Alpine Tundra, so we can just fade in the trees like we're going to do over here. That's going to be okay. That into the wetlands looks fine. It kind of blends naturally in a way. Actually, it's like it does it on purpose. Look at this here, with the greystone into the brown dirt. If there's a way to show this easier. If you can see my mouse, you can follow it around like that, look. I wonder if that's on purpose. That must be on purpose, because it happens all over. That's awesome. Well done, Tycoon 2 developers. Reef into that's going to be mainly tree-based. That into wetlands, also tree-based, I guess. I don't really know what else we'd do. Maybe we can put like a ridge of sand and a dune that kind of just splits it off just a little bit. Somebody suggested, and it's a great idea, to put like invisible boundaries between each thing, so it kind of looks like one big zoo, but the animals are naturally split up a little bit. But to an extent, I kind of love the idea of them being able to kind of just run around and meet, and you know, we'll have a T-Rex roaming around the Arctic, or we'll have a kangaroo hopping around the Arctic, you know, and yeah, they won't be thrilled about it, but at the end of the day, we're just trying to make a big-ass looking zoo for one episode, basically, so I don't know, I think it's quite a cool idea. Alright, I'm happy with the world. I think it looks a lot better now with this kind of little bit of attention to detail, just kind of making it a little bit more interesting. I think it's cool. So, the hard bit. Okay. So, let's begin with hot desert. We need plants for the hot desert. We're going to mainly... I really want it to feel like a hot desert, so... Cacti, or as I like to call them, cactopodes, kind of towards the north, and then this is going to be more savanna-y. So we'll have a lot of grasses up there. So there's going to be more cactuses like down in this kind of area. But then as you get to the... This is like meant to be an oasis, right? And in my head, I've always got like little things I'm stealing from other people. But in my head it's like, I don't know how many of you played World of Warcraft, but in the Barrens, there's like a little oasis section, and you approach it and it's just green, and there's trees everywhere, and it's like the trees just kind of absolutely surround them, just like this. And it's cool, and it's like just this one big pocket of life that manages to survive, you know, I really liked it, the look of it. Okay. And some little plants. The desert grass we're going to use up in the north primarily. What's we got? Some little cactopodes. Everyone loves cactopode. If you don't love a good cactopode, you're a silly, silly human. If you are human. I hope you're human. This might be a little bit too much life for a desert. But it's at least a somewhat supported desert by, you know, this oasis here is going to provide some water in the, like, whole surrounding area, so... Okay, and let's get some savanna grass more over here in the top. This is silly. What I should be doing is looking for savanna. Is there a savanna thing? Semi-desert? Nope. Savannah, there we go. There we go. This is more what I wanted, really. If I put enough of this down, you won't notice. It's gonna be okay. How was this blending with this? Oh, boulders, boulders. We're gonna put some rocks down. We're gonna have some savanna grass that kind of pushes forward a bit as well. I really wish there was a big button. Just let me put down thousands of pieces of this stuff in one big go, you know? And let's put some African daisies down. Lovely, jubbly. And what we're going to do quickly as well, we'll have a little look, see if this is going to work. Tropical savanna. Let's just go ahead and savanna up the whole area, actually. In retrospect. And it'll kind of blend in a bit. Oh. I don't bloody know. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. What we're actually going to do then, since we've done this. My theory is that another little pocket oasis has kind of survived in this kind of region, right? Kind of looks like a Metroid thing, or a facehugger, but still, that's cool. Everyone loves a good facehugger. Let's go ahead and get rid of all this grass in here. And this little oasis in this kind of northern quarter has kind of blocked. It's kind of let this area alone kind of thrive and start to sprout up grass compared to the rest of the savannah, compared to the rest of the desert. So it's like a mini savannah located at the north of the desert. Tropical savanna. So let's get some trees in there. Some of these dudes because they're freaky looking. Bit of life. Sometimes it doesn't really make sense, but I just like having lots of stuff. I like having lots of life in each of these areas, you know? We'll save the rocks to the end. Actually, we'll do the rocks now. Okay, so that's not really working, so we need desert rocks. Are they any better? Yes, they are. They're freaking beautiful. Desert carcass, why not? Desert sign. Yeah, we'll have like a... Right, we're going to make like a little thing. So there's going to be a desert sign. I know this doesn't make sense in terms of a world, but still, there's a desert sign there. And... that's like an opening in the world between... Not in the world, that's not what I was going for, but you know what I mean. These desert rocks are awesome. Wish I had a few more rock varieties to mess with, but still. So like the boulders and the hill have kind of created this natural boundary, wherein this oasis has let this bit thrive, whereas that oasis has done it a little bit, but it's kind of more blocked off, and you have to go through here, and there's a desert sign, and you know you're entering the desert, and I think that blends together okay. Desert. How cool is that? You walk through, and there's a desert, and you can see the oasis in the distance. Yeah, I like that. I'm happy with that. We're going to save it, because I'm incredibly paranoid. Because obviously we're working with a big map, and we've seen these crash before in the past, and I'm I'm terrified I'm going to lose 23 minutes worth of work. Okay, so that's those done. Let's work on this bit over here. And this bit is a bit I will remember the name of. It's not Alpine Tundra. It's Tundra. It's just flat old Tundra. That's Rain Wetlands. Tundra! There we go. So we need some rocks, obviously. I'm just gonna go. This is why my games crash. Okay? This is the primary reason. I really want this bit over here in particular to feel rocky. Like there's a big old collapse between the mountains and it's created this passage between the two that's allowed the ecosystems to kind of blend together, you know? Will it blend? You're damn right it will. And I'll show you. It's weird, you can put a few of these rocks down next to each other and they kind of look a bit daft because they all look the same, right? But as soon as you put loads down, you kind of stop noticing. How daft does this look? Pretty daft. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to up this a little bit as well. Now it looks substantially worse. Okay, let's just... Oh, wow, floating rocks. Well, if you ever wanted to make floating rocks, now you know how, folks. Now you know how. Let's get rid of these. Yeah, that's okay. It's okay. Landscaping. Trees. Snowy trees. Right, so we're going to have some snowy trees more at this side, obviously. And we're going to put some of these kind of going into the Arctic as well. And same with these ones. Just to really blend the two together. I think it's working quite well. It would be nice if some of them weren't snowy, frankly. But I don't think I'm allowed to do that, apparently, so... what's this? Pert what? Pearl what? Who doesn't love pearl what? Pearl what is like my favourite thing. You guys don't even know. And a little ditch here that's created like a nice little habitat for Labrador tea. Obviously. Where else would you store your Labrador tea? Please don't make tea out of Labradors, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm going to have a little bit of water in here. It's quite a boring little area, and I can't really put water in because the game isn't letting me. So, where's our tundra? There it is. We're going to have a little river just kind of making its way through. Maybe gathering at the base of the mountains over here. And getting a little deeper in the middle. And let's smooth that bad boy out. Don't know why he's a bad boy, but he is. He's grounded. It looks like a giant sperm, which is how all my rivers look. I should be worried about myself, but I'm not. Okay, let that curl around that mountain there and off the edge. Just makes it a little bit more exciting looking. Now, we've got this big blur area here, so I'm going to do something with it, but I'm not really sure what. It's like a little patch of life that's thriving in the middle, you know? And tell you what, let's put a little bit of water in here as well, but just in the middle. This little river that's kind of... not river, this little pond that's having life sprout amongst it, which seems to be a theory I've gone with quite a lot so far in this playthrough, but still, whatever. Okay, that's that one done. Moving on up! Moving on up! Moving on out! Nothing can stop me. I'm so sorry. Polar ice. Why is the list not alphabetical? Where's polar ice? Or is there no trees for the polar ice caps? Am I crazy? Am I just missing it? I don't see it. Okay, I think if we go into the biomes... find it. I don't think there is one. I don't think there's trees, which I suppose would make sense. Let's get rid of this one. Huh. Alright, how are we going to make this more exciting then? Oh, icebergs and stuff like that, I guess. I don't know, this area, I mean, at the end of the day, it's the polar ice caps, right? It should be barren, empty spaces and stuff like that. Oh my god, no, BestInSlot. I know it should be, but I just like having stuff, you know? I love stuff. Whatever. Nice big barren polar ice caps then. Moving on, polar tundra. I believe. Alpine tundra, Alpine tundra. Alpine tundra, what have we got? Oh, we've got some nice trees in the Alpine. Now these, you'll see, the Alpine tundra are actually the same trees as the tundra. Which means we can use these over here. The only difference is, I mean, there might be a couple of different ones, but like the Himalayan pine tree we have up here. That one there, Himalayan pine tree. So, basically the Alpine tundra has the non-snowy version. Which means we can do pretty cool stuff over here. Let's have a little look. What's Tundra got? So we've got Himalayan pine tree, balsam, spruce, and red cedar. Now I don't think any of those are the same except the pine tree. Birch? Did I say birch? A second ago? Did I literally just say birch? My words. I can't remember. A little forest at the end here that's managed to thrive despite the temperatures. I like things thriving. Life finds a way, Legend. Life finds a way. I just kind of want it to feel like a bit woodlandy, but not too woodlandy. And let's go ahead and then get some... Nope! Himalayan pines. Some of them snow on getting this far, some not. There we go. It kind of blends it together a little bit better. We'll put some rocks in as well. Hopefully that'll help it out. And some tundra, not tundra plants. Alpine tundra. These Edelweiss, these are quite snowy looking little plants, you know, so I think if we have like a series of those, that'll help a little bit. What's this? Alpine sea holly. Lovely. Let's dash some of that about. Maybe nearer the water in particular, because it's called sea holly. And larkspur. Again, near the water's edge primarily. Along here, blend that in. Lovely jubbly. Lovely jubbly. I think that kind of works. I want some rocks in, because it'll help. Rocks always help. But still. You know what this reminds me of quite a lot? How many of you played, oh, what's that game called? I know it's helpful, isn't it? Have any of you played that game I can't remember the name of? It's a zombie game. Open world zombie game, not DayZ. Multiplayer, co-op, online, whatever. What the devil is it called? Oh, no. 7 Days to Die. The environments kind of do this. I remember specifically like an alpine tundra kind of environment blending in to the woodland like this. I think we need a few more trees to kind of hide some of the gaps. And some more snowy trees to help that out. I know it's a little daft that some of the trees are incredibly snowy and some aren't, but we'll just say, like, if it was a real world, some of them would be different heights and stuff like that, so we'll just say that's kind of what happened, and the bigger ones obviously caught a lot more of the snow and a lot more of the drafts, so they naturally look a bit more like that. Okay, done, 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 done. Bam. Gotta save it, because I'm paranoid. Let's get our rainforest done. And this is one I'm nervous about, because I want to go crazy on the trees, because, you know, it's a blimmin' rainforest. But, we know that crashes the game, so I'm not that confident right now. Right, tropical rainforest. Where are you, my dear? Where are you? Right, I want like a primary tree. I think that one blends in better with the colours that are already established. So we're just going to lay some groundwork off kind of trees bloody everywhere. Like so. And a couple maybe extend away, maybe one gets that far. Because, you know, you wouldn't have this flat edge. You have this blending of life. Especially with the wetlands, which is probably capable of sustaining not exactly the same lifestyles, but similar. Oh my god in heaven, I'm bored already, come on! How does this take so long? If anyone out there is working on a Tycoon kind of game like this, right, give me a batch foliage option, okay? Just give me a make rainforest button, actually. You know, that would do it for me. A make rainforest button. That's all I need. What I do like is that as you click, you can see the tree rotating every time. So it stops it feeling quite so repetitive. Oh my god, I didn't do anything down here. Oh, wrong tree. There we go. And you've got to use multiple trees just to create a bit of like dynamism, bit of excitement. shall we say, instead, because I can say that word. This kind of brightens it up, adds some different colours in. Makes it blend. Into the desert is proving a bit of a problem. I've got an idea though. I have a plan of how to handle that. We'll get to that in a minute. You shall see greatness, ladies and gentlemen. You shall see greatness. For this bit, it is just going to be a progression of trees that just kind of naturally fades. And I want to keep the edges somewhat untouched, just where the water is. A little bit, because again, you tend to have these banks in rainforests where maybe it's a little less populous with life, just for a few feet, really. Not for much, but enough to warrant a few less trees in the area. Any more trees? Any more? No, there's some little ones, whatever. Done you. Done you. Wait, is this what I was just using? It's hard to tell. Yeah. These are nice big trees to dominate the landscape as well. And these look like slightly more like the kind of trees you'd see in this kind of environment up here, so we can blend in with that a little bit. Whoop! Oh my god, it's a fruit tree, I didn't realise. Now there's bloody billions of yellow fruit hanging everywhere. Okay, whatever. It's fine, I did that on purpose. Oh, it's a lot of trees. Right, so my plan, remember for this bit here, basically what I'm going to do is if we go into all, what I'm going to find is... this. Basically, I like this idea. I don't like the idea, like inherently it's quite a bad idea. And negative, oh my god, what, that trunk, what have you done? Why? And that one just moved. Right, apparently I'm not allowed a trunk there. I don't know why. Or there. And there should be quite a lot, there should be. If they'd stop being bloody mental, what are you doing? I don't understand. I don't get it. Why? Anyways, the idea is either through time, or I'm going to put quite a few more leafless trees in, or just like a change in the soil composition or whatever. This area has become like a barren, dead zone for trees. Maybe there's a war, alright, and people were fighting in the jungle, and people were fighting from the beaches, and so like some contaminants were used. The Geneva Convention was not followed, so it was chemical warfare, and it just killed the wildlife in the area. And there we go, we have like a dead desert that blends in, sort of. Look, it's the best you're gonna get out of me, folks. So I've put more trunks in, but well, we saw what happens a second ago, right? So that replaced in that, like that. I mean, this doesn't have to be that big of a deal up here, just because we have this like oasis, right? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a few of these trees here. And that kind of works for me. That works. I think this works pretty well, which means we're nearly done. You know, it's going pretty well. Oh god. Kind of left an entire Alpine area over here. Oopsie daisy. Nothing special for this bit, just a few trees. Considering my hatred of trees in Minecraft, I've really grown to love trees in this game. There's something really good about just how populous they make your world feel, you know? We need these in particular, actually, because we've got another Alpine section here, which means we need snowy Himalayan pines. Like so. And some boulders to help it along. Lovely jubbly. Right, all we have left to do now, to get ready for the next episode, where we'll be adding so many different types of animal, is the reef, which I don't think is going to take much, and the wetlands. Please save and thank you, Lord. Okay, so, wetlands. Let's have a little look. Palestrine, Palestrine, Palestrine. Every time I hear Palestrine, I just think Star Wars. Is that weird? It really sounds like something from Star Wars. We have quite a few of these over here as well, kind of blending in. Some of these, some of them in the water where it's shallow. Why not? Not you, because you're floating, which isn't really what I was looking for in my trees. I kind of love this with the big drop off at the edge. It does. It feels like it just feels like a cliff, you know. La da da, la da da, la da da. Big sort of bushy area in the middle. Some of these because they sound cool. Archaeopteris, awesome. Lovely jubbly. Right, plants, breathing roots. Lots of these around the edges, particularly in this middle kind of region where it's a bit more fractured. Lots of these, lovely jubbly, lovely jubbly. Lily pads, obviously. I'm going to have a couple of these here as well. Ones that I've managed to thrive via the wetlands and just kind of push their way into the main lake. Maybe a primary river down here. Lots of logs. Everyone loves logs. Logs are a very wetlands thing to do. We'll have some of those over there as well. And it's weird because one of the best ways to make it feel like it isn't made by humans is to make it as if you're not a human. Just be as random as humanly possible. Because this is the problem with people. This is the problem with humans in general. But it's like the problem with like serial killers, right? I mean, the main problem with serial killers is that they kill people. Let's not pretend otherwise. But my point is that people naturally follow patterns, even if they don't mean to. People, like, you will put patterns down. The idea for me right now, like I'm closing my eyes right now, is just to be as random as humanly possible to make it really feel like it is naturally placed. And I really like the look of this wetlands, I think. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Reef. Oh, do I want rocks in the wetlands? I will have some rocks in the wetlands. You know my love for rocks. Just dotted around here and there. Don't even know where they are. Doesn't really matter in the slightest. That's the fun. Reef, 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 reef. That was a reef. Oh, there's no rocks in the reef. Maybe? Okie dokie. Same problem as before. Reef does not have plants or trees. I suppose why would it? It's just a beach. And then there's a ridge, and then it becomes life. I'm going to put some trees in here just to help it along. Rather predictably, the game died. I completely, utterly blame the rocks from the from the Arctic section. That was the clearest message I need, that they should not exist, and I will not be putting them in the game. We are just going to finish off the episode now before anything else breaks on me by putting some lovely reef rocks down here at the bottom. Like so. And then we need some coral in here. Some anemones. And what's this? An anemone! An anemone. What else have we got? These are cool. Coral. Some coral in there. Coral. What's that? Coral. It's not like a proper little coral reef, you know? Coral. 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 What's this? Coral. Coral. And I think that's coral. I think that's probably good enough. Coral. Sponge. That's a cactus, BestInSlot. Sorry. The game's got to me. It's also a cactus. Anything else? I want it to be alive, you know? Sponge. 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 Coral. Anything else? I think that's it. I think we're hunky-dory. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is the biomes finished. I had to remake the wetlands. It's not actually as good this time. By and large, we're pretty happy. Well, I'm pretty happy. Everything blends together really well, I think. There's a story kind of around the world. No area is particularly boring. Every area's got like its own little personality or little quirks. Yeah, I'm really liking it. I'm really... No! Why? Ugh. Okay, the game is really struggling now. I'm not going to open my map anymore. We're not going to put any more items down at all. Next episode, ladies and gentlemen, we are just going to get our animals in and see how they work for an episode. And that will be the last episode of Zoo Tycoon 2. Until we come back and maybe have a look at your stuff, there will be a video on that in the next couple of weeks or so when I figure out how to make it work. And that means after the next episode, Jurassic Park Operation Genesis will be back on the channel. Thank you so much for joining me for the entirety of 2015, and let's look forward to a great 2016 as well. Cheers, much love, as always, bye-bye.